Well, hello and welcome to Suburban Homesteader, Wyoming, Arizona. This is Sandy. Welcome to my live. Now, usually my lives are Monday nights, but I have decided to switch those to Wednesday. I had done a Wednesday live just because I had things on Monday and Tuesday night, and I had a lot of people come in. Now, they will be at 6 o'clock any other time than this week, but I volunteered to work at the library book sale the last couple nights, and I have to work from 5 to 7. Mom, Grandma, hello, how are ya? Thanks for stopping in. So I thought, well, I had already told people I was switching it to Wednesday. And so I just thought, well, I'll do it at 4 o'clock before I have to go. I have a half hour and then I can run over to the library. But it has been a great book sale. Oh, she says I need more option on the poll. The poll is how much of the food you produce, how much food can you produce in your yard? What do you do? And I just pick some random ones. 1%, 25%, 50%. My grandma, they do about 10%. I was wondering this because I had seen a post on Facebook. Oh, 50, 25, and 10%. Julie is here. She says she's bouncing between making dinner and finishing up a canning session. What are you canning? Mount Grandma says for sure she has to up her game. Well, I saw this post, and it said that in 1800, 50% of Americans were farmers. So they produced most or all of their food. By 1945, there was 45% of people producing food in their backyard because that was the time of Victory Gardens. So that was, it was one of those things we have to produce, right? So 45% of the fruits and vegetables grown in the United States were from Victory Gardens, backyard gardens. But in 2020, according to this post, only 0.1% of Americans produce they're only producing 0.1% of food in their backyard. That surprised me. I really thought it would be more like 5 or 10%. I knew it wasn't huge, but I really did think it was bigger than 0.1%. It's 1.1% of food in people's backyards. And we have a lot of backyards across the country. I think that has to change. I seriously think that if I was you, I would say this winter, even if you've never had a garden before, I would say buy some seeds this year. You can always do them in pots or buckets, 5-gallon buckets, windowsills, flower boxes. I just think you would be better off. That's all I'm saying about that. I really think that people need to learn to grow their own food. Mount Grandma says, you did have 50, 25, and 1. I'm just saying a 10% option. I don't know if I can go back in there once my live has started to change that poll. I'm kind of new at doing polls. If I look at my stuff, I think I probably produce, because I have a lot of fruits and vegetables, probably 30% of what we have. That I think that's probably what we produce. Now, with the land that I have with my house, it would be difficult for me to grow any kind of grains, though I have grown some rice before in 5-gallon buckets, but not enough that would last me a lot. Hello, Gail. Gail says, growing up in Hawaii, we grew a lot of our own vegetables. I miss that. I live in the mainland Midwest now, and it does suck not to have fresh vegetables or fresh fruits and vegetables in the garden. Gail, do you have room to have some vegetables or even grow some in some pots? Julie says, I'm 100% on a few veggies, 0% on a lot. Because a lot of times, you have options to buy things at the farmer's markets, or some people will grow certain things and then they'll buy the other things in the stores. I just think it could be very important for us to at least have some seeds. The seeds will last you a while. It's not like if you don't grow them this spring, maybe you grow them next spring. Madam K, canning apple pie filling right now. Oh, I love apple pie filling. I have canned that so many times. It's so convenient. Then you just make your crust, dump that quart in there, and your pie cooks faster because it's already been processed some. So I haven't done that for a little while. I think, I should take some of my apples and do some of that. Last year, all I did was I mixed them with cinnamon and sugar and put them in freezer bags. And so when I've made pies this year, and I had a little bit of flour in there, I just dumped them in to the pie pan and cooked them. And that's been really cool. Gail says that she does miss Asian vegetables and tropical fruits. 2 of my kids lived in Hawaii for a long time. And it was amazing when you just go and visit them and you just go out and one day Grace takes this machete, whack, and just does a bundle of bananas. It's totally fun. The apples were free, just had to pick them. And can them. There's a lot of people that have fruit trees around me that do not do anything with their fruit. It basically falls on the ground. They'll use some of it or they'll give it to some people. And I have done many summers that I've knocked on somebody's door and say, hey, could I pick some of your fruit? And I've never been turned down. I always make a deal with them. I'm going to can whatever, that I'm doing. Like the neighbors have a Dalgo crab apple up the street. And those crab apples are very big. It loves the spot it's in. And I have made crab apple applesauce and crab apple jelly and jam from those. And then I just share that with them. So that is always fabulous. Hey, Henry, how are you? I've always had a garden in my 50 plus years. My grandpa always had what he called a gentleman's farm: garden, cows, pigs, chickens, ducks. That is awesome. When I grew up, my grandmother that lived on the farm had a huge garden. It was about 1/4 of an acre. And other than buying like flour, that kind of stuff, flour, salt, stuff like that, she basically produced everything. She had chickens. When my grandfather was alive, they had cows and some pigs too. And so that's very self-sufficient. And I have 8 quarts done, 5 pints in the cooker now. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Oh, let me show you a couple little things I'm making. I am making new Christmas ornaments this year, and everything on the tree I'm going to have made somehow. Even if it's like a glass ornament, I'm going to do something to it so it's not like a store-bought one. So I made these little ones. They're just supposed to be Mary, Joseph, and the baby. I had seen a thing like this once on, I don't know where. I don't know if I saw it in a book or what I saw it. But I thought, I am just going to make Christmas ornaments this year because we are going down to Arizona for just a little bit. We're going to sell our place down there, and then we're coming back until we will actually have our first Christmas here in Wyoming in 5 years. And I had just kind of gotten rid of a lot of my Christmas stuff because I wasn't using it here. And so I got a new Christmas tree. It's in the box, came in the mail. And I'm going to make ornaments for it. So I thought that would be kind of fun. And I'll show some videos on making different ornaments. Julie says, 1 pint of broth still needs to ping. Next up, trying the beef with the veggies. they look less alike before processing. I just finished making beef broth. I make that quite a bit actually, but I used a new recipe. It was really pretty close to the recipe I used, um, my daughter's friend's recipe, other than it didn't have any orange juice. And my daughter's friend always adds orange juice. Well, I didn't have any orange juice yesterday when I started making it. And so I put lime juice in it. I had squeezed the limes, and so I just put some lime juice in it. It's really good. It was in the slow cooker for almost 24 hours total, and it was fabulous. Sandra, hello. Bridezilla, hello. That's fun. Jeannie, hi, how are you? Once cooled, the beef will be the one that has traces of fat. That's true. Like mine are in the fridge right now. And so tomorrow morning or later tonight, one of the two, I will just open up the jars and I'll scoop off that fat that's solidified. And that way I can use that for like if I'm frying potatoes or I'm cooking something that I would need some kind of oil. Not cookies or anything like that, but if I was frying something in the frying pan, I would use it. Henry says, my dad Jacob Slatter toys for us kids eat kids 1 year. We love them. Oh, I have such good memories of toys when, that we got when we were growing up. It's just spectacular. Now, I had planned on working in the gardens today, but it was very windy and cold. In fact, this morning, I think it was probably about 47 degrees with the wind blowing. We had a lot of rain last night, which was excellent, especially for the fires around us. But the rest of the week's supposed to be pretty good, so I should be able to probably tomorrow, sometime in the afternoon, I'll have to be starting to pull vegetables out because we only have a few weeks before we go to Arizona, and I have to be able to clean my gardens out and do all that stuff, even though we'll be back in just a few weeks after that. So, but this weekend, well, actually today is my parents' 69th wedding anniversary, which is amazing. So this weekend, almost all of us, not everybody, but almost all of us were up at their house. Got to go on a helicopter ride. So if you saw that video, it's great fun. I had never been on a helicopter. What about you guys? Have you ever been on a helicopter? It was an amazing thing. And it's a weird feeling in a helicopter because you're going, but it was windy, so there was some jerking. But you're going way, way, way faster than when it feels like you're going. And so we got to see all the lakes in the hills. We got to see Crazy Horse Memorial. We got to see Mount Rushmore. We got to see all kinds of stuff. And that was great fun. Hi, Wayne. How are you tonight? I know I'm early, but I have to go work at the library tonight. Book sale. In fact, look at this book I got. Oh, weighs a ton. Look at this. Food for 50. Has a CD in the back too. It's all about feeding large groups of people. But the book is just phenomenal. It tells you all kinds of things about your kitchen and things that you use in the kitchen and how to use things. And it's just fabulous. Sandra says, am I chatting with you? Yes. Just a heads up on anyone canning apples. Make sure you leave a generous 1-inch head space. I agree. The first batch of 6 quarts didn't seal. They were too full. I took them back down to a 1-inch space. I'm a firm believer of when you're doing stuff like that, anything thick, for sure you got to have that inch space because there's way too much expansion. That's what I've done too before. I've just recanned things. Yeah. Canning apples. I know. We love it. I have a lot of apple trees, so I always have a lot of apples to can. I don't actually work at the library all the time, but every year we have what they call the library book sale. They go through the library and they call out books, and then people donate books. And so then it's all volunteers that work on the sale. So last night I worked, and then Joe and I went over there today because it was $5 bag day. Anything you can fit in a bag is $5. And the last 2 days of the sales, it's always like that. So tonight will be very busy so that it'll be fun, and there'll be a lot of people getting books. But it's a great way for the library to raise money to buy new books. And so I like that. And Ann Dale is here. Well, Ann, I'm early because I have to go work at the library. Otherwise, I would have had it at 6 o'clock because I have decided to do my lives on Wednesday nights instead of Monday nights. It works better for me. And when I tried Wednesday, I had more people that came in. And though it was at 6 o'clock, my normal regular time, but so I'm excited. But thanks for coming, Ann. Ann and I are part of Round the Hay Bale, and so tomorrow morning we're recording 2 different podcasts, and then Friday morning we always have a radio show at 9 o'clock Mountain or 10 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. So if you ever want to pop into that, it's just Round the Hay Bale. And you can also listen to it on Apple and Spotify and Audible and all kinds of stuff. So it's great fun. Wayne says, let me move that out of the way. There. Wayne says, look for those guidebooks. Oh, they have a lot of those. Madam K says, haven't done salsa yet. Did 6 batches last year. The kids just love it. We love salsa too. It's tasty, and I like making salsa out of a lot of different things, not just tomatoes. You can make mango salsas and chutneys and all kinds of stuff, and I just really love that. Anne says that Wednesdays are better for her too. Good. I love books too. I would say that honestly, working at the library would be great fun because I have done the library book sale for lots and lots of years. And I usually do anywhere from 2, 3. If they need extra help, I'll do more. But it is just so fun, and you see all kinds of people you haven't seen, the whole summer. And so it's great fun. And Sandra says that she's disabled and barely walk. Do you do any canning at all, Sandra? Wayne says, look for those guidebooks on birds identification, plant identification. I have lots of those books. I love those. And in fact, I even looked at another bird book today when Joe and I were over there. And I didn't get it. But when you work the book sale, you get 5 books for free. So tonight when I work, I'll be able to pick out 5 more books. Fabulous. And so I will look and see if they still have that bird book, because I went back and forth on if I wanted that or not. Madam K says that she did corn, peaches, tomatoes. And Dorothy is in here. Thank you very much. I will tell them happy anniversary. Hi, Anne. How are you? Anne, I have to tell you, I thought that video you did about the books that the girls are doing in homeschooling was very interesting. And actually, that one book that the girls were reading, I'd like to read that book. I know it's a kid's book, but I'd like to read that. Yep, I love all canned fruits and vegetables too. Yeah, and I decided to change my lives to Wednesdays, and I will do them at 6 o'clock Mountain Standard Time regularly. But I have to work the book sale tonight, and so I thought, well, I'll just do it at 4 o'clock. And so I'm done by 4:30, and then I have time to drive over because I have to work at 5. So I just thought that was, I just thought it would work. That's just what I thought. Oh, Anne says that she loves that book. It's not just for kids. It's a lovely story. Yeah, it sounded interesting. If you would send me a text message with the author, just so I am getting the right book, that would be excellent. I tell you, excellent. Um, so in the garden, I have a lot of things I have to harvest. I mean, I just brought a ton of tomatoes, and I have to honestly tell you that I can't grow this many tomatoes. I mean, I want to grow these tomatoes, but it's just too much stuff. I mean, I have been giving and giving and giving away vegetables. And I just thought, Sandy, why are you growing this much food? I don't know, because I can. I like it. I don't know. It's not logical because I mean, I always give stuff to my neighbors, my kids, my parents. But like right now, I need to go and I need to there's so many spaghetti squashes over there. It's just like crazy. I have my other garlic to pull up. I got more onions to pull up. Huge amount of carrots, more tomatoes. My beans I need to do. It's just like sometimes, but it is at this time of the year, right? When you get overwhelmed and you're going, oh my gosh, I have all these vegetables and I have to do something with them. Dorothy says, Friday after next, I'm doing concessions at the local football game. I will be getting paid in nachos. Yes. And a good feeling for volunteering. I love volunteering. You know, my parents always did a lot of volunteering, so that it was just kind of, that's just something you do. You know, I know a lot of people when they grow up, that's just not part of their life. And so it's a new experience when they get older. Oh my gosh. Planted 47 tomato plants, and 8 of them gave the best. They had more sun. Yeah, tomatoes do like that sun. I mean, it's not like they can't produce. I have a few tomatoes in pots that get really more morning sun. They don't get sun after that. You know, probably till about 1 o'clock they get sun. And they have produced, but nothing like the ones that are in the bright sun. You know, so that's always interesting. Henry says that he likes national sorry, I'm thinking at the same time as I'm reading it, because I think I have the butterfly, an insect one. I have like 4. I have a bird one, and I think I have like an amphibian one of their books, a field guide book. But I didn't see any of those over at the library because I would have got those at the library because they're great books. They have great photos, good information, and I have to look at my stack because I'm trying to think in my brain while I'm reading your post how many of those I have, but I do like them. I'll let you know if I find some more tonight, because when you're working, you're always rearranging books and sliding them together because people are buying them. I may not grow all my food, but I do prepare it. Just sliced up a loaf of wheat bread from the freezer. Awesome. Yeah, because there are options. Not everybody has, 40 acres that you can just grow everything that's possible. You know, so I grow what I can grow, and then I go to the farmer's market. If I have to go into the store, I try to get the organic ones if they have that. You just try to get the best you can get. Azer Standard is a company that I have gotten food from before. It trucks in, and we just go and pick it up at the semi. So that's always been good too. And okay, sorry, Sandra, I didn't, it didn't, sorry. Okay. Sometimes when people are in the chat, either they have like a channel name, so you have to know that channel. So awesome. Cool. My counters are full from the 8 plants. Making ketchup again this year. It's all gone. I love making homemade ketchup. It is so incredibly good. And it's an interesting thing that, you know how rhubarb is ready for your tomatoes? Well, in England, they would make a sauce that they would use instead of ketchup. It's called Victorian rhubarb sauce. I've made it many times. And so before your tomatoes are ready, you can make that out of the rhubarb. And it is a great sauce for barbecues, for sandwiches, putting on meats that you're roasting. So if you haven't ever done that before, that is an excellent, excellent um, sauce that you can make before your tomatoes get in. And so I thought that was interesting when I was reading about old Victorian things, sauces and things that they made, that I learned about that. And I've made it many, many times. In fact, a few of my friends always tell me that they love it better than ketchup now. So that's kind of fun. But it is, it's a busy time of the year if you're a gardener. And if you're not a gardener, take advantage of the farmers markets right now, because there's an overabundance. And so the prices are down from what they are when they just very first, when tomatoes are like just very first setting on, that are just turning red. Oh, Dorothy says, I don't expect anyone to pronounce. I don't know how to pronounce it either. That's my husband's music channel, though. See, Dorothy, I did not know that your husband had a channel. So I am going to look that up. I'll subscribe to him. Yay. I buy what I can't grow and can it from the farmer's market. That's what I do too. I can it, I freeze it, I dehydrate it. Whatever works, you know. I made some, you know, I've been making my sourdough bread. I did a video, it came out on Monday on I was making sourdough bread, and I actually showed how you can make your own starter if you don't have somebody that can give you a starter. Well, when I made bread yesterday, I made it and I added almond extract into it, and then I added, it's called toasted almond crunch. It's just little tiny pieces of almonds that have been toasted, and I usually put that on the bottom of the bread because I don't really like cornmeal on the bottom of my sourdough bread. Actually, on the bottom of any of my bread, I don't really like it. So I did that, and the bread is phenomenal. And I thought, what a fun thing. So when I make it next time, I'm going to pull out, because I have some actual just slivers of almonds too. So I'm going to make some with that in there too. I think it'll be fabulous. Thank you so much. I always appreciate you guys when you like, subscribe, share with the world. That's what I always say. Now, I know it's not quite 30 minutes, but if you don't mind, I'm going to head out. I got like 55 seconds left because I just need to, I have to get a few things done, and I got to run over to the library sale. Look at these 2 books I got. This was in part of my $5 bag. The Great Tomato Book. I've read this book before, but I didn't actually own it. I don't think so. I might go downstairs and I might own it. And look at this one, Sugar Snaps and Strawberries. It looked like a fun book. Sometimes when I buy books at the library sale, I do have to say that sometimes I get home and I have that book anyway. Then I have to give it away. That's just the way it is. But I'm going to let you go. I hope you look forward to, on Mondays, I'm going to have baking therapy. I started this week with the sourdough bread. And I think I haven't decided for sure, but I think I might make lime pie on Monday. So I hope you guys have a great rest of the week. Thanks for stopping by. Make sure you check out Round the Hay Bale, because you will learn a lot of stuff. So I will see you next time. I totally appreciate you guys coming in.